Okay, so just gonna go through a little bit of the fight here. The difference between heroic and mythic is that whenever you clear Blizzard, the fire puddles shrink. So make sure that you are aware on which one to go to, and if you're fast class, you can go to one further away, so the slower classes can use the one close to you. If for some reason you know you're not going to make it to any section and you're going to get frozen behind the boss, so people can cleave you out. Um, the second thing is that these marks that come out from lightning last forever, can only be cleansed by pillars, so you have to run into those and get cleaned, and obviously they still spread, so yeah, you have to avoid running into people as you do that. Another thing that's very important in Mythic is that these pillars do damage, and they do way more damage than on Heroic. Well, way more, but they ramp up very quickly, so we need to make sure we clean as many as we can with the fire debuff. So here I'm just going to show you some play of the boss to just show you somehow how it works, but it's very alike on Heroic. So there you see as well, Critius goes for the far one because the close one shrank to nothing, helping out the team. And then just as he rushes in though, he gets lightning, but he can probably make it to the party without spreading, but this situation is kind of bad, they're a bit stacked up here. But you'll see how this can be resolved anyway, even if you end up in a situation that is pretty tricky. So they do get a few replications here, and the problem is like, even here you can see that he doesn't have a ring around him and stuff, but it's an interaction if you run in as two, and it kind of just wants to spread it, so it spreads it anyway. So you just make sure you completely lost your debuff before you get away. Sometimes you have to stand there for 1-2 seconds. Okay, and then we get access to clear pillars here. If you were this person, you probably would want to aim to clear at least 2 of these, maybe all 3, because there are hopefully some other pillars somewhere else, but generally at least take 2 of them, because you have 3 around you instead of just 1. But he ends up taking us 1, so they actually don't clear much with that one, and they end up taking more passive damage because of that. And also he's fairly close to the edge here, so they're in a pretty bad position, and you see the marks coming out again. So it's a tricky position to be in. Preferably you would have to want to be in a more open section here or have the fire further back. But they managed to actually get out of that situation fairly easy, and here they get new pylons. But at this point they have fairly many because they only clean 1, and yeah, but you see the rangers standing there ready to clean. They're in a really good position to clean a lot. And rangers are generally the ones who will deal with the big cleans, like take 4, 5, 6 pylons at a time, while melee maybe gets 1 or 2, 3 if lucky. So this one is a bit better, even though he only takes 1, but at least he goes deep, so he knows that the fire is not going to push them out of the room. So that's preferable. And here they kind of have the same thing happen again, but this time I think they managed to clean. Nah, they touched each other. But don't be afraid to run into the fire real quick to cleanse the things, as long as you don't run over each other. And from this on, they kind of just keep on playing, and it actually gets, yeah, it gets pretty controlled. They do spread it a few times, and it's not the end of the world if you spread the mark, but make sure you eventually at least get rid of it. Here you have a frost happening again. So they go in, they just make sure they lose the debuff once. They have some new pillars coming up, and here they're going to have to clean a lot as well, as much as they possibly can to reduce the passive damage taken. And here they can take quite a big chunk even from the melee and the range one, because they have a pylon here on the right side. And that will reduce the passive damage taken on the raid by a lot. So yeah, that's about the fight. It's chaotic, it looks chaotic, but the mechanics really doesn't do all that much, unless for some reason you get really stuck with a shit ton of marks. So when you're cleansing, have patience and don't run blindly over one another. But if it manages to replicate, just go to a fucking pillar, stand there until you make sure it's absolutely gone. So yeah, that's it.